I'm Brian. I've been playing D&D for about a year now. I started playing around the time this summer, and shortly after I just started DMing. That's more what I'm into, and now I'm here. Okay. Well, I guess let me get into Gideon. So, I lived in a small town ever since I was a kid. Hamlin, we called it. It was right off the edge of the Imperium, which is one of the biggest colleges in the world. It got libraries all over the place. It's insane. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to go there. But I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm Gideon LaRoe. Some people call me Stitches. And, well, this will be my story. My mother and father were kind of a little tag team. They were an herbalist, and my mother was kind of a hack job nurse. And they were the closest thing Hamlin had to a doctor, really. Ever since I've been a kid, I'd always seen what they did. You know, I picked up things from them, stitching, things like that. Just like a breeze. I mean, I've been stitching wounds as long as I can remember. Hence the name Stitches. When I was a boy, there was a woman dragged into our home. She was unconscious. Apparently she was a drug addict. She passed out. Whatever she'd taken way too much, and it was far too late for my father to save her. I was the butcher's wife. And from that day, her son has hated me, and bullied me, and tormented me through most of my time in Hamlin. Anyways, I spent most of my time reading books that Torlin, the priest of Ilmatar in our town, would give me. I never gave much thought to religion as a kid, because, you know, I don't know, most kids don't think of those existential questions like that. However, I read books, and once I became older, I kind of took over my parents' jobs, and I was a bit better than them. I read all the anatomy books Torlin gave me, and by the time I was like 12, 13, I was stitching wounds, setting noses, little things, putting fingers back on, you know, and just normal things for a small town. One morning, well, actually over time, my father began to get sick, and I think deep down he knew he was dying. Every morning, I would always go out and I would search for the herbs that he gave me, well, that I could give him to alleviate his pain. It's just always what I was looking for, and oftentimes I go out even before the sunrise. But this particular morning, I went out a little later than usual, and the entire time I had this uneasy feeling that someone was following me. All I had with me was my apothecary satchel, some string, needles, just normal things, a little box to keep the herbs in, and my mother's scalpel, of course. I kept it with me ever since I was a child. More as for utility than for wounding someone. Now, after some time of walking through the woods looking for the herbs, I found several sets of them, but my father wanted me to collect some extra things around the shop that we were out of. And I stopped and found a very specific root, nightshade, and it can be kind of ground up into a powder, and it will knock your ass out faster than anything. And I kept having this just paranoid sensation, so I said, okay, rationally, I'll do this. So I started grinding up the nightshade, and got into that powder, and I heard a twig snap behind me. I said, fucking butcher's boy. And he had one of his father's meat cleavers. He waved it about all fancily, telling me how he was going to kill me. You know, how normal sociopathic children do. And I pulled out my mother's scalpel. Now, I was by no means a very tall, well, I was kind of tall and lanky, but I was by no means a strong boy, and he easily had 50 pounds on me. So it didn't take much for him to punch me in the gut and make me drop my knife. However, I still had the nightshade root in my palm. I squeezed it so tight, I could feel the bones breaking. It hurt. But I was so scared. I thought he was going to kill me. And he swung his cleaver, and it was like lashes of hot fire across my face. And he cut me open from here to here. I knew immediately my left eye was lost. But I managed to throw the root in his face, and he inhaled it. Wasn't expecting it. He was very surprised. His eyes widened, and right before he hit the ground, I tied him up, gutted him, he doesn't exist much anymore. I stitched up my face, knew it would leave a nasty scar, and I walked very slowly back to town. Now, around this time, there was a war going on, and soldiers were going from town to town with a draft. Any boy that could hold a sword had to go. Well, if they were criminals, at least. It was not a very popular war, so most towns didn't really cooperate, but mine did. And when I arrived, these draft soldiers were here. Now, these aren't ordinary draft soldiers. They were mercenaries. They weren't representative of the Empire. They were just mercenaries hired to pick up soldiers and take them back to the army to be trained. So, I arrived covered in blood, large gash down my face, half my face bandaged. Probably soaking through. I'm sure it looked awful. But I'm stopped by a soldier with a blue mantle around his throat. And I was quickly subdued and taken to the constable's office in town. I told them my story. They rode out and came back with the butcher boy's body. Torlin was there, and I could hear him arguing on my behalf in the other room. I couldn't say much. I was just a kid. I was 17. Nothing. Never experienced anything in the world. I've just been taking care of my parents for as long as I can remember. But Torlin came in, and apparently whatever I'd done to the butcher's boy had impressed one of them. One of the mercenaries. And he said he could use a doctor in his team. So, they would be taking me. Or, of course, I had the option of being hanged by the town, but Torlin didn't think I would like that one too much. So, I left with the mercenaries. And, that's kind of where my story really begins. We were traveling along the road, just a normal afternoon. We were about a couple hours from the camp, as far as I can remember, and as soon as I hit the wood in the back of the car, I just kind of passed out. And I had a dream. It was beautiful. It was of a babbling brook. It was just amazing. And I woke to this horrible gurgling sound. It started to change and warp, and I woke up and I was looking dead in the face of a guard with an arrow through his throat. Swords were drawn, and The man in the front seat, soldier, blue mantle, the one that stopped me before, he threw me my apothecary bag. I thought it was lost, but threw that to me and told me to watch the others. And then he winked at me and he jumped out. There was a lot of fighting, and as I was sitting there, farmer's boy picked up in the draft as well, and Hamlin. He took a crossbow bolt in the knee. Knee breaks are always the worst. It just turn into gravel, basically. And so I started to assess the wound, pulled out my scalpel to try to cut out the bolt rather than push it through. Can't do that with a kneecap. And then I felt a hard iron grip around my ankle. And next thing I knew, I was flat on my ass at the end of the wagon. And standing over me was a very big, very angry half-orc with an axe. It's a pretty axe. I scrambled for a knife I saw on the ground, and he stepped right on my hand. But I forgot I had my scalpel in my other hand. I was squeezing it so tight, so scared. So I rolled over, and I knew right where the Achilles tendon is. It's one of the most painful things I saw. I saw some horses one time that were brought to my father's home that had their Achilles torn by coyotes. That's how they bring down their prey. Wolves, coyotes. They tear at it. Can't walk anymore. Not any medicine in the world unless it's magic. But the orc didn't take too kindly to it, and he fell to the ground and rolled over. I grabbed the knife I had, and I stuck it right into his gut. But orcs are a bit tougher than I anticipated, and all that warranted was two heavy hands like gauntlets around my throat. He pulled me up, and I was practically eye to eye with the orc. That was before I jammed my scalpel right into his neck. He gurgled and kind of a quiet scream, and then he died. So, just to recap, in one day, I have killed not only my childhood tormentor, but also a bandit half-orc. You could, as I'm sure you can imagine, I was a bit shell-shocked. Now, I thought I was safe, and relief immediately washed over me. That wasn't until I got kicked in the ribs and rolled over. And then looking up at me, like irony spitting in my face, was an orc that looked just like the one I'd killed. And he was a little upset. And he raised his axe, and I most likely would have died until I saw that sword get jammed through his face. I was sprayed with gore. It was awful. But standing behind him was the knight with the blue mantle. He grabbed my hand, pulled me to his feet. Said he was Murdoch. His name was Murdoch. Well, first thing he did was he clapped me on the back. Said he hadn't seen many men that could kill an orc, let alone with just a knife. But as we looked around, the majority of the soldiers were pretty well trained. It just took them some time. They started to cut down the bandits. There were some wounded. They told me to tend to them, and I did. Saved a couple men's lives that night. When we arrived at the camp, he summoned me to his tent, and he formally asked me to be his doctor, rather than me be taken to the Empire to be a soldier. He said he could tell I wasn't much of a fighter, but I had some talent to me. I accepted his offer. In 4 years' time, I would be released from the service with a nominal amount of pay and my freedom to go where I wished. And that is what happened. Murdoch became like a father figure to me. Taught me how to fight, taught me how to swing a sword. Although I still wasn't particularly good at it. But I did get quite the knack. I became a pretty decent shot with a crossbow.
So let's go with where are you going, Gideon? You've just been let out, you have money, you've put money away, you've taken 14 gold pieces with you. That should be more than enough for travel.
Yeah.
To get from location to location, so.
Honestly, I don't really think the Imperium's for me. Not yet, anyways. You know, I'd really like to go there, but I feel like that's something... I don't know. Being with Black Crows, I got myself a little taste for adventure. So, I want to go to the nearest, or head my way towards the nearest big city.
Big city, define big.
Stone walls, keep.
So,
City.
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 Not massive, like...
Not huge.
But bigger than the small villages you've been going to.
Yes, I've never been to a big town, I'd like to.
Okay. You're heading to a city by the name of Stead Keep. Yes. So keep me honest, yeah. You're heading to a city by the name of Stead Keep. It's named after that because of the keep that survived war after war after war. And it's a small-sized keep with garrison, give or take 100, 150.
Okay.
Average garrison. Most of them are the villagers. Town layout usually, like, you have a little keep here. Keep on top of the hill. A fairly big hill. With the town kind of built around it. At the base of the hill. They have one road going up and one road going down from the keep.
Okay.
You said stone walls, but there's not stone walls protecting the village. It's
just the keep.
Just the keep, but it is a big enough city. I mean, it's a trade location.
Yeah.
You've got a road going in from here, from basically every cardinal direction. So it is a good little trade center.
Yeah. I'm just looking for a place to set up shop a little bit. I don't know. Just whatever catches my eye, whatever catches my attention.
Well, this is a bigger city than you're used to. Especially traveling with the military, they don't usually stop at big cities. It gets a little bit controversial. And,
Too many fights.
Yeah. And not everybody likes them. So you've reached Stead Keep. You're into the village. It's pretty simple, It's pretty. There's no big dragon attack, nothing fancy. It's just a village working its wonders. Merchants coming in and out. It's broken up mostly into housing at the north. And on the western side is where all the trade is.
Okay. Well, I'll go towards the trade area then.
And then there's just general... That's the trade, like the people bartering, selling drugs and stuff. And then you have your general blacksmith and town necessities on the other sides.
Okay.
So.
Well then, I'll go towards the trade area, just see what's in town. I haven't had money in a really long time.
And now you have more than you really want to.
Yeah.
That's why you put most of it away and only took a little bit with you.
Yes.
You head into the trade location. They are selling everything. They're selling everything from rugs to seeds to fish, and there's no rivers nearby, which makes it a little bit sketchy.
Some strange fish.
Oh, but he'll tell you he imports them if you actually ask him. That's about all he'll tell you, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not all sketchy. A lot of it is legit dealers, but they have a lot of things here. You're very landlocked in this village, so just keep that in mind.
The majority of the things they get here is trade.
So a lot of this is stuff that came into the city from other locations, and they traded it out.
anything that catches my eye? Anything spectacular here in this raid area?
Not that you can really tell. I mean, it's a lot of simple stuff common folk would be very impressed with. But nothing that you...
Some like, ooh,
look, I can get this that not only picks cotton, it sorts it.
Snazzy.
Meanwhile, you're like, but that doesn't work.
No. It's not.
So you kind of got... It's a magic cotton basket. You put the cotton in, it sorts the seeds out.
Yeah, this doesn't really have much for me. Is
not
there a
many in the
tavern?
trade. The taverns are located in what I call the necessity area.
Okay.
And there are two big taverns, the Bloody Boar and the Hog's Meat. They have a forest nearby, so a lot of what they get is
From the woods.
pigs and boars.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll go
So
to
a lot
the
of
Bloody
it's perfect land for them to do that.
Yeah.
As expected, the Bloody Boar is more of a tavern. Food
Rough and tumble kind of people.
Rough and tumble. Yeah, you've got the Bloody Boar is a lot more of a rough and tumble place. Yes. A lot of people that stay here are rangers, fighters, barbarians, adventurers, of course. And they like to go out and hunt to pay their wages more than actually give gold. A lot of them do it because I mean, the tavern keeper isn't gonna go and hunt a boar.
No.
He's got to run a tavern.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll sit down at a table nearby and I'll order me some food and some boar.
Boar is what they're named after. They have special seasonings and stuff they do with it to make it almost look like it's bloody. What he'll tell you is mostly cranberries. But it does look like a bloody piece of boar meat. They charge you a gold piece for the whole platter and 3 drinks, basically. That's how he'll do it. And he will, I mean, have it out in a couple minutes. I mean, no hurry, you're here to buy a room. The room itself is going to cost 5 silver a night.
Okay, well, I have gold, so this will buy me, I'll stay here, let's say, 2 days. I'll pay for more if need be.
And so you have your little bar set up, and then tables, of course. There's no booths in this one, it's just tables. I mean, it's a communal area. You can go around.
I mean, I'm not, like, isolating myself by any means, I don't care.
Not by any means.
I mean, most people tend to stay away from me, hence the mask and everything.
Yeah, hence the mask. So, yeah, you're in the tavern. Your dish comes out in about 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, whenever I don't kind of eavesdrop. These are their adventures in here. Are they talking about any particular events that have happened recently in the area or anything like that?
They actually seem to have a very boring conversations. They talk about the forest, about how there's a lot of herbs and really nice things in it. It shouldn't be this bountiful. Rumors of nymphs and sprites living in there.
Really?
Which of course makes every adventurer kind of smile a little. He also is, a couple of them say no, it's not nymphs and sprites, it's probably treants, which is a little bit more troublesome than a nymph.
Yeah.
They do talk about how the boar is running out, and they're wondering whether or not it's because they are eating it faster than they can reproduce, or if there's outside forces.
Oh.
And then they go to, no, the nymph is hiding all the boar from us and, you know, joking around.
I may have to check out this forest, being an herbalist and all that. See if it really is as bountiful as they say it is.
So in your town, you've got the forest is that way. I'm gonna draw a little blob here to represent the forest generally.
Yeah.
You enter from the western side of the forest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after enjoying your meal, of course.
Yeah.
And you enter from the western side, and there is a nice little path that goes generally straight to the forest.
Okay, well then I'll go ahead and just perception check, see if I can see anything, any little herbs catch my eye or anything like that. It's 11.
Nothing really catches your eye in this forest. It's not as bountiful as they said it was. You get lots of berries, lots of every so often you will catch. Every so often you'll catch plants you recognize, but nothing fancy.
Anything medicinal, really, I'm assuming.
Not really.
That's often. That's pretty rare, honestly.
Not many medicinal herbs in here. It's mostly weeds. You do notice an abundance of boar tracks off of the beaten path, of course. And the beaten path has mostly horse tracks.
Well, I don't know. They were talking about a shortage of boars. Maybe I could... I don't know. I'm bored. I'm gonna look up... How many hours do I have till sundown?
You have give or take 4 hours till sundown.
Okay. Well,
you
then...
you got the town at a reasonable
I'll take a
time.
little walk. I'll follow boar tracks. Might as well. Go off the beaten path. Have a little adventure.
Most of them head to this side of the forest, and you're not gonna see any boar. You're not a tracker. You're a cleric.
Yeah, I'm just following. I'm just bored
But-
and walking through the woods.
And you see a lot of what used to be boar dens, probably where the hunters cleared them out. And it's definitely a live forest.
That's good.
Squirrels, birds, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
You do note that a lot of the boar tracks seem to be going out of the forest.
Really? It's kind of strange.
Boars aren't very good at hiding their tracks, so it's kind of just like...
Yeah, I mean...
But a lot of the boars seem to be leaving the forest.
Can I see where any of these tracks are, like, are they deep tracks? Like, does it look as if they were running?
It looks like running tracks, yeah. They're deeper than walking.
Where are they running from?
They seem to be going from here and crossing the forest.
Well, then I'll go up towards this kind of area of the forest, follow one of the tracks I see that's leaving, and see if I can find where it starts running and kind of get scared. Etc.
You see a lot of... You see actually a lack of animals in that half of the forest. You see little, what seem to be holes in the trees, like something stabbed them.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple dead boars are over here.
Dead boars?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, can I examine one of these boars with a medicine check? It's a 16? What does that tell me about the boar? Can I tell it died?
It looks like it was... It looks... Because you're a doctor, you would know. It looks like it just got stabbed.
Stabbed with what?
It's not that long, give or take.
Can I test and see if there's any poison or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yes, that'd be a medicine check. That's a 7.
Even with that, it's not that hard to tell that the boar is already rotting from the inside.
So it's something...
Poisoned it.
Acidic. Almost.
That's what it seems like.
Huh. Can I take like a scalpel and see if I can find any bit of it that I can...
You're not gonna be able to.
Okay.
It's already set in.
Yeah.
You're
Okay,
not
so
gonna-
about how many corpses are over here?
About 3, and it looks like one was dragged out of the forest.
Can I follow the one dragged out of the forest?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make an effort to go kind of slowly. I'll pull out my crossbow, and I'll go ahead and put a dose of venom on it. And just kind of be walking, ready, whatever this thing is, because it's kind of shady.
Just a little.
Just a little. I mean, there's 3 dead boars, and they were talking about a shortage of boars, so...
So you go forward a bit, and I'm actually gonna switch to red. You go forward a bit, and you see that the trail leads towards the hills. Following a little bit more, I mean, it's just a bloody path of boar. You actually hit a hill that has a small cave into the side of it.
Oh. Okay. Well, this is kind of interesting. Let's see if I can make a general knowledge check about what kind of animal this might be that would hunt boars, lives in a cave, and anything particular.
Kind of a cave. It looks like something dug it out.
Oh, really?
So it's not a natural
something
cave. It's like somebody
large that's
dug.
been dug out.
It seems like it's been dug out.
Okay. I'm a very nature person. I don't know much about animals.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Very large badger.
Maybe.
I mean, that's a thought. It would cross your mind. Maybe. I mean, you know badgers like to dig.
Well, I'll cast, about how many more hours till sundown?
About 2. You've been on the forest for a while, and you're not a good tracker, so you're kind of... You stumbled around
I was
here
meandering about, yeah.
for about an hour, and then you kind of noticed that the boars were running, so you kind of meandered that way. You have about 2 hours left.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I guess I'll go ahead and cast light on my crossbow. Cast light on that, and I'll kind of walk into the entrance of this cave kind of slowly. Being kind of careful.
It goes down more than forward, if that makes sense.
So it's like a tunnel. It's a burrow.
It's like somebody burrowed down, and it kind of turns.
Mm-hmm.
Slims out to where it slims out a little bit and then hits a large cavern shape.
Okay. Well, as I get to about here, I want to snuff out my light and just kind of peer around the corner and see if I can see anything in there.
There is a large, what appears to be dragon in the corner of this room. A dead boar laying in front of him, apparently been tore open. He is sleeping. And it looks like he's gathered a lot of random adventure stuff. He's kind of eaten people as far as you can tell.
Huh. Okay, well then, I would like to slowly creep my way out of here without waking the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go back to the Bloody Boar.
Wyverns. Well, I don't know a lot about them. What I know, I've only read in a couple books that Torlin gave me when I was just a kid. But from what I know, they're big, scary, almost kind of like dragons. But not as big, and they don't have all four appendages. Their arms are fused into their wings. That, and I also know they have some of the most potent poison known to man. They say that just a drop of wyvern venom can kill an elephant. That's something I'd like to test and see, actually. But from what I know, they're angry, volatile, and they'll chase their prey for miles. That's about it.
And you can get back before nightfall.
Okay. And when I walk through the door, who is sitting in the tavern? I mean, it's nighttime, so I'm assuming there's quite a few ruffians and
It's
rangers.
filled up a little bit. You've got about 3 what look like rangers. Probably a hunting party. About 2 fighters, maybe 2 barbarians. A good 8, 9 people are in here.
Okay. I want to stand on a table.
Everyone's staring at you at that point.
Greetings, friends. I'll kind of thaumaturge you, make my voice a little bit louder. Greetings, friends. So, kind of new in town. Was walking through the woods, and I heard you guys talking about a shortage of boars. And saw some tracks, and actually stumbled across a couple corpses. And I followed one who'd been drugged, bloody trail. I mean, honestly, I'm not much of a tracker, so I don't really know what kind of animal this is, but I followed it to some kind of burrow, and inside was what looked like a dragon of some sort. Anybody know anything about something like that? Or maybe want to help me, or help us run it off in some way?
They kind of look at you. There's no dragons in these parts.
Something dragon-like, then?
They kind of seem, the rangers at least, seem to be discussing it. Like, nature freak, who knows,
Yeah.
who knows the forest best.
Yeah.
And, the barbarians will look up and they're like, how big?
Very big.
No, kind of. They start to discuss it, and then the fighters are just kind of, maybe after the elves.
After the ales, how about a couple gold your way and we go now? I can tend to anyone's wounds, anyone that's injured, and we could get this thing out of here and maybe get a reward out of the keep. Who knows?
They kind of nod. It's a reasonable offer.
Change the name of the tavern from the Bloody Boar to the Bloody Dragon, then.
The Tavern Keeper's all for that. It'd be better publicity.
Yeah.
Especially with the boars running out. So you're going to get, for sure, you're going to get at least 2 of the rangers. One of the rangers is going to stay behind. He thinks it's stupid.
Yeah, naturally. I mean, I realize not everyone's going to want to go with me.
The fighters, of course, are going to come. I mean, you're paying them, and you'll get one of the barbarians.
Here, I'll give 2 for the fighters. I'll give them a gold piece each. Alright, this is a pretty sizable party, I think. And I'll kind of lead him back to... And I mean, I've got an eidetic memory, so I know exactly where I went to get here. And I'll go follow my trail back to the cave.
And you will find the entrances there.
I'll kind of look at the
They
ranger.
followed
like,
you.
what does this look like to you guys? Some kind of burrow? I'm kind of trying to be quiet-ish. I'm like, you know what kind of animal would make a burrow like
And
this?
they look.
I don't know many dragons that would burrow.
Dragons don't usually burrow. They usually take someone else's burrow. They find it as theirs.
Naturally.
And he kind of sizes it up. No idea.
What kind of races are these people?
The ranger is naturally an elf. The barbarians are... The barbarian is an orc. The other one was human. And the 2 fighters are both humans.
Well, then my fighter friends
And rangers are.
well, Mr. Elf Eyes, why don't you lead the way, and we'll see what's on the other side of this thing. We'll try to keep as quiet as possible. I'm gonna kind of follow behind him, and I'm assuming the rest are gonna file in behind us.
He peeks around the corner and turns back. There's nothing in there.
Oh shit.
He'll say, "There's a few gold. There's some what appears to be treasure. Lots of gold in there. A few adventurers packs.
Well, then it looks like we've got ourselves a dragon nest. Tell you what, do any of you have any oil? Kind of look around the others.
They
Are any
all
of them
kind
carrying a lantern or anything like that?
They kind of shake their heads. They had torches for a while, and then they got to the cave. They kind of snuffed them out.
Ah, okay.
Elf at this point has gone inside the cave.
Yeah, I am as well. I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna investigate. Do I see anything on this pile? It's perception 12.
There appears to be a lot of gold, a lot of treasures, and what almost looks like a golden egg.
What?
There appears to be a gold-colored egg sitting on top of this pile.
How big is it?
About the size of an ostrich egg.
Okay.
Maybe bigger.
I'm gonna look at the ranger,
Not that big.
and I'm gonna look. If we don't get eaten by a dragon, that's mine.
Ranger kind of looks at you weird. Okay.
Just so you know, just in case. I don't know. Maybe we should. You guys think we should lay a trap for it? Maybe we could hide in here. How high are the piles of gold?
Oh, not that high.
Not high enough to hide
Enough
behind.
to pay your party. That's about it. But not high enough. It's not like he was looking for gold. He just happened to find it.
Well, I'm not too positive. I mean, I would love for us to load up on gold right now, but this thing was here like an hour ago. So, whatever it's doing, I'm sure it's coming back. Has the boar that was there, has it been eaten?
Yes, it's been completely eaten.
I'm sure the bitch is hungry. Tell you what. Who is the strongest looking here? The humans. Because they're the ones that aren't gonna
Or
be...
the half-orc barbarian.
Well, yeah, but we're gonna need him if it shows up.
Okay.
So, humans, go stake out the front. And you guys take watch. If you see a dragon, just yell.
They will do that.
Okay, well then I'm gonna take out my backpack. I'm gonna empty the majority of my shit out of it. And I'm gonna start filling it with gold for the party. I'll carry this back here. You guys, in case we need to fight, you don't need to be weighed down. And I am no armed with a sword, so this is completely useless to me. And it won't weigh me down too much.
Okay.
So I've got the loot. I'm gonna take the egg. Alright. Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay, you guys leave the dungeon. They don't say anything. And as you leave, the is right in front of you. It's a giant, what almost looks like a black dragon with a stinger on his tail. But it's also nighttime, so you can't really distinguish color. Gideon's human, yeah?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not. It looks like a big black dragon to you.
I'm gonna kind of scoot back here, and I'm gonna cast light on.
That's another reason that the egg looked gold. Reflects off the gold, what little light you had.
I'm gonna cast light on my crossbow and kind of level it.
What you thought was black is purple.
Ah, I like purple.
It's a big purple wyvern.
A wyvern.
That's what the ranger says. It's a
Oh
wyvern.
shit. Well, I know a bit about poisons, and I know that wyverns have some of the most potent poison out there.
They do.
So now, I'm looking at this egg and I'm like, ooh, infinite poison source here. That would be handy.
That's true.
So I'm like, yeah, I don't, yeah, you guys are the adventurers. What do you think we should do here?
Ranger says back away slowly.
Well,
At this point, it's on its legs and it's like spreading its wings at you.
well, we're backed up to the cave.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nowhere else for the door. He just says you don't want to be near it.
Okay.
You don't want to get hit by that stinger.
I start kind of slowly backing up. Still within range of the crossbow.
Barbarian, as expected, loses his patience and charges it.
About that time, I'll shoot a crossbow.
Because you kind of expect them to attack.
Yeah.
Rangers have taken point, and the fighters are acting as a boon.
Well, I'll cast Bless on these three people, the fighters, and the barbarian, so they can add a d4 to their roll, to one of their rolls.
They will remember that. Barbarian has first attack. Barbarian rolls 7. Plus that. And he is going to take your d4.
Okay.
He's going to roll and add 1, which gets him right on the AC.
Nice.
And he smacks the dragon with his axe.
Hell yeah.
Deals 7 points to the dragon.
It's a wyvern now. Now we know it's a wyvern.
Wyvern. And then next is... Because I've got 3 on here. I've got... And the dragon's going last. He's kind of trying to fake all shock and all right now.
And it's not exactly working.
My order is Barbarian, Fighter, and then Rangers.
Okay.
So you need to choose a place within this. Hopefully. I'm not going to do
Well, I'll make sure I go before them.
I don't want to do formal initiatives for all the NPCs. That would be annoying.
Yeah. So I'll go before, directly after the barbarian. How about that?
Okay. So then it's your turn. Barbarian has won. You fired your crossbow?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So that's a nat 20 on the crossbow fire, and it was venom. It was poison from earlier, so it needs to make a constitution save. Well, it's a wyvern, so I'm assuming poison is not really gonna do a lot.
Yeah, it's making the save.
It takes 3 plus 7, so it's gonna take 10 damage from my crossbow.
Okay, it's taken up to 17 now. Next initiative would be the fighters. Fighters are going to take flank. And they're going to stab at it. They have pole arms.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Like halberds.
yes. One of them sinks it into the dragon, but the dragon's going to kind of flick it away.
So he loses his weapon.
He's nat ones, yes. He's going to lose his weapon, but I am going to give him damage on it.
Okay.
Halberds are D8.
Halberds are a D10.
Okay, I knew they were one of them. First thought it was D6. He deals 3 to it, so you've done 20 so far. So his weapon's gone. The other one's going to hit normally, and I keep putting the D10 back there. And he's going to deal 3 again. So 23. The Rangers have pulled out their longbows, and they're going to shoot and shoot. Which is D8. 1d8, critical equals 9, plus 2 is 11. And the other one missed. So, Wyvern's turn. Wyvern is taking a bite. He takes 2 attacks per turn. He gets a bite attack. He's going to hit the Barbarian with the bite. So Barbarian's been hit. Then he's going to use his Stinger on the other guy. The other guy gets a fortitude save, and as expected, probably fails. By my die rolls for the day.
And
It's lots of d6s.
it's 12.
7.
7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6. Actually, there's 7.
Plus his base damage of 2d6. Guy takes 5, 9.
Dead.
Yeah, he gets stabbed and toasted. The Barbarian, on the other hand, only takes 2d6. And 12 is not enough to kill a Barbarian that's raged.
So he just takes
He
a snap
takes
out.
a snap at the Barbarian and knocks him to the side a little bit. Then it's top of the initiative. Barbarian is going to swing. Barbarian hit. I'll go ahead and do Fighter's hit too. So Fighter will hit too. Keep putting that d10 down. Fighter hits for 5. Plus 2 is 10, is 6. 7, sorry.
It's Barbarian D12.
He rolls d12. He does 14 points.
Nice.
So he's done 54. Then the 2 Rangers.
I'm gonna
Ranger,
cast Healing
Ranger.
Word on this guy, on the Barbarian.
Heals how much?
1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, so 1 plus 3, so 7. So he's full again.
Yeah. 11 does 65. There we go. So you guys are pretty much taking this right now. Dragon's going to bite him again. It's got oh god. It's got nothing better to do. Stinger the other guy. He does nat 20 the guy. He does 2d6. He does 8. He does 14. He does 18. Plus 4 is 22. Half is 11. So Barbarian takes 11, which is bloody on him.
Alright.
And
Assuming these are like level 2s.
yeah, they're not that big. The fighter takes his little 3,
And Stinger.
7, and then the stinger damage.
Well, what is his Constitution roll? Because he has that D4 he could add to it.
2,
Okay.
and then the stinger,
Which is death.
which is death for the fighter. Fighter number 2 is dead. Barbarian still has aggro. Barbarian swing. Barbarian hits. He gets it up. He does 72 points there.
Okay.
And then your turn.
I am going to... I'm going to shoot another crossbow bolt at the one. It's 14 plus 4, so it's 18.
Okay, you hit the wyvern.
4 plus 2, that's 6 damage.
Okay, 78. Rangers 1 and 2. Both of them are hitting. And he's up to 83 points. Wyvern is taking his full attack on this guy.
Yeah, now he's dead.
He's going to hit the bites and miss the tail.
Ooh.
Guy jumps out of the way. He takes 5, 11, 15, divided by half is 7. 18. He's like 2 points away from death.
Okay.
And then Barbarian's turn. Even more pissed off at this point. He has a reckless attack because he thinks he's going down. Hits the first. 93.
Okay, I'm going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. At this point, I've just got my shield up, and I'm just gonna hold down a boop, and I'm gonna cure wounds on the barbarian. So that's D8 plus 3, so that's 8, and he heals an extra 3, so he heals 11 in total.
So he heals 11. He goes down to 7 points. Keeps him alive.
Yeah.
Unless he gets stunned.
Unless he gets stung and then he's fucked, and then I'm fucked too.
Rangers go. Hit, miss. They get D8 in. 95. And then Dragon gets his advantage attacks against the guy. Dragon's Bite nat 20s.
Oh, his head's gone, isn't it?
You heal him. You watch. He takes 5, takes 8, 13. Then he takes the stinger. No, 13 plus 7 is 17. I mean 4 is 17. He takes 25 from the stinger, plus 4 is 29, plus all of that.
So he's dead.
So he gets ripped in half in front of you, and you're now standing face to face with a wyvern
Okay.
with the egg in your backpack.
Okay. Now, I want to do this as kind of a side glance. I am a doctor. I've been watching this thing. Medicine check, but how close to death is this thing? It's an 18 plus 5.
You believe a couple more arrows will take it down.
Okay.
So it's woozy. It's very, very woozy.
Well, I'm going to 5, 10, 15, 20. And raise my crossbow. And I'm going to shoot. So that's a 17 plus 4.
You'll hit it.
6 plus 3. Or no, plus 2. So that's 8 damage.
Okay, 8 puts it up to 103. Then arrows 1 and 2. Somehow they roll the exact same number and miss.
Uh-oh.
Somehow. Very angry wyvern. Now I remember why I moved rangers like that. Goes airborne.
Oh, shit.
And goes for this guy.
Assuming it's gonna knock him to the ground.
It's going to bite him and miss, and get its stinger as a second attack and miss. Guy jumps out of the way. You have initiative?
Crossbow bolt to the face. Eh. 16 plus 4 is 20.
You hit.
3 plus 2 is 5 damage.
Okay, it's at 108. The ranger is scared. He draws a weapon and 18 will hit the dragon. Stabs it through the face with a short sword, which is lethal. And the dragon comes down with this sword up its neck. And a very terrified ranger, who was acting all cool until that moment.
Whew. Well, I am going to... First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run over to the tail of this thing. And I'm going to attempt to harvest some of its venom.
Uh-huh. Nature or medicine, 1 to 2.
Medicine, 8 plus 5, that's 13.
You can
I have a
harvest-
poisoner's kit, so would I get advantage on that?
I'll give advantages.
It's a bit different just, reading about them. I didn't know they could be purple. That's something. Or that they could just bite a man's head off like that, but the whole thing about the venom, it's absolutely true. The stinger was the scariest part about it. It danced around and every person it touched died. There was nothing really that could be done. It's fucking horrifying. Like a monster from one of those fairy tales.
You can get, give or take, 4 or 5 vials of this stuff.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute.
You're sitting there bottling it up.
Yeah.
Like the Jabberwocky.
There you go, yeah. Well,
You get about 5 doses of stuff. The ranger has kind of slunk to the side and he's shaking at this point.
I'm gonna take the barbarian's axe, and I'm gonna start slowly trying to hack this thing's head off.
You have the axe and you can hack its head off eventually.
Yeah, and I want to throw that to the ranger.
Ranger will catch it.
Let's go back to the tavern, friend. I think we've all learned to drink.
He nods very quickly and you guys travel back to the tavern. Thankfully these were adventurers. So
Yeah.
their families aren't going to come attacking you in this village.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully.
Thankfully.
You return to the Bloody Boar. He gives the Tavern Keeper the head.
Do you have a new mount on your wall?
Tavern Keeper kind of smirks. Not what I expected from someone like you.
Most people don't. But
Sad for the loss, but they died in fight.
rounds in the house for everybody.
They will. You can definitely pay for that. Out of the mass gold. And everyone is cheering. You get a party dedicated to you that night.
Woo!
There's a village, there's a city up north that could use adventurers like you.
What's it called?
Well, I got this egg. Been thinking of names. And, I always thought, I always wanted a dog when I was a kid. My parents were too poor to get me one. So I guess next best thing is a venomous, dangerous, dragon-like creature. Haven't really quite thought of a name yet, but I have heard tales of people riding these things. And while I don't think will ever get to that level of badassery, I'd sure like to try. I went to one of a dwarven blacksmith in town and commissioned him to make me a box. A metal box with a padlock on it. He guaranteed that I could drop this damn thing off a cliff and the egg would still be safe inside. So I trust dwarven engineering. That seems to be one of the few things close to magic out there. And yeah, that's it.